Thanks very much, Deputy Speaker. I move that the House notes that 1. Australia has over 500 national parks that protect our unique and precious environment. 2. Sydney's Royal National Park was established in 1879 and is Australia's oldest national park and the world's second oldest national park. 3. The 16,000 hectare Royal National Park has unique cultural, heritage and environmental values. 4. The Royal National Park, A, is the traditional country of the Dharawal people. B, it has one of the richest concentrations of plant species in temperate Australia with more than 1,000 species. And C, is rich in wildlife such as birds, reptiles and butterflies and exemplifies the biodiverse Hawkesbury sandstone environment. 5, the Royal National Park's importance to the nation was recognised with a National Heritage listing in 2006. 6, the values of the Royal National Park deserve World Heritage protection. 7, Federal Labor will consult with traditional owners and the local community on nominating the Royal National Park for the World Heritage List. And 8, with the consent of traditional owners, Labor would prioritise a World Heritage nomination. In moving this, I do so as somebody who has had a love of the Royal National Park his entire life, and in the context of there being a very real threat to the Royal National Park right now from the New South Wales State Government. The New South Wales State Government, under Premier Berejiklian, has a proposal to effectively get rid of 60 hectares of the Royal National Park to make way for the proposed F6 extension. It's a plan that was produced without public consultation and that highlights the government's reckless and destructive approach to the natural environment of New South Wales. It's clear when a proposal like that is there that World Heritage is the only mechanism available that can stop a coalition government from environmental destruction. We know this because we've watched it in the last few years. It used to be the case that anything put under protection, there'd be an argument at the time as to whether or not the protection should go ahead, but once it was in, there would be a principle of no backward steps. We saw that even on a World Heritage listing, this government was willing to try to take backward steps, but a World Heritage listing is the one thing where a line is drawn and they are prevented from doing so. We saw it with respect to the areas of Tasmania that had been added to the World Heritage list during the previous government when I was Environment Minister, that one of the first actions of this government was to go back to the World Heritage Committee and say, we know that you looked at these beautiful rainforests and we know you thought they were World Heritage, but we'd like to log them anyway, can we just take them out? The World Heritage Committee dealt with this in just a few minutes. The delegation from Portugal even described, embarrassingly, the submission from Australia as feeble, and it was thrown out. Those forests, as a result, were protected. It doesn't stop this government from wanting to still engage in environmental destruction. Only a couple of weeks ago, we heard that there was to be an announcement in Tully for the current Deputy Prime Minister to announce a new dam which was going to involve the flooding of the wet tropics area. Once again, a World Heritage area that we thought had been protected and was now bipartisan support for its protection, and that battle was gone with the passing of the Bjelke-Petersen government. Yet World Heritage is the one thing that a coalition government has not been able to undo. Similarly, the protections that we've put in place in the oceans, they're keeping the boundaries, but they just want to be able to kill the sea life within them. That's what's happening there. The Royal National Park should not be up for grabs. The Royal National Park should not be up for clearing. The Royal National Park should not have areas of it that are up for demolition. We have a very proud legacy in Australia with that national park. We turned the national park announcement that the United States had made with respect to Yellowstone from a one-off announcement into a global movement. We made it clear with the advent of the Royal National Park that what was happening was going to be a global shift of country after country protecting areas. And I would have thought that action of protection was locked in and was in place. But for the people who've spent their lives like me, riding bikes on Lady Carrington Drive, going for picnics at Watamala or going to Gary or Marley Beach, or even just driving through on your way to Bundeena, this incredibly precious place is being viewed by the New South Wales government as up for grabs. This resolution is about noting the magnificence of the Royal National Park, and about having a pathway forward to committing to the only form of protection that coalition governments do not undo.